and you're constantly working on mastering your mind and emotions and working through your stuff, you're bound to end up somewhere great. I think the biggest thing holding people back is themselves.
Hey, I'm Joe Fier, and welcome to the Hustle and Flow Chart podcast. This is where we talk all about building businesses so they give you the freedom and fuel for your life. I'm not here to help you build a billion-dollar business, but I am here to help you create a business with systems that work for you so you can make more money than you need just by working part-time. You know, I was a chronic hustle mode kind of guy, and I want to share my experiences and mentors I've met along the way to help you reframe things to be the most effective as an entrepreneur. I wish I had this guidance and insight when I was younger, so that's what I'm doing here for you. Please share and enjoy. Hey, we're back with another one, and this time I have my new friend, Christian Mickelsen, on the podcast with me. And we recently, it was just the other week, we were at a mastermind here locally in San Diego. He's not always in town. He kind of jet sets around in other places. And he happened to be in town. We connected for the first time and we hit it off on a lot of different ways. And it was obvious that I needed to have him on the show. So that's why he's here. And man, if you are looking to optimize he coaches, and there's some powerful stuff there because every one of you listening, I'm going to go on a limb and say you're an expert in something, and your clients are typically humans and you want to give them a very clear way of them wanting to work, like literally wanting to work with you in a very clear and direct manner and work with people who have that mindset. It's not a pushing type of relationship, it's pull. And Christian, among many other things in this podcast, because it's extreme value throughout the whole nine here, is he's going to give you the blueprint of exactly how to do this and essentially get clients at will whenever you want with a very focused package to offer. And he's going to lay out what that looks like. He also has an awesome gift that I'm starting to dive into, and it's packed with like literally templates and resources you can do to implement this. It's over at getclientstodaybook.com. Again, that's getclientstodaybook.com. This guy is incredible. He gets into how to also clear some of the mindset and different friction points that we face in business and life as we're progressing. So if you feel like you have any hangups in that regard, this podcast is for you, and Christian's going to be your man. All right. So without further ado, make sure to get his book and carve out some time, get some notes ready, and let's get into this one with Christian Mickelsen. All right, Christian, we're rolling, man. It's great to do this. It was cool to hang out in the mastermind the other week, man. So a lot of good mutual friends I didn't know we had.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's pretty obvious. Like you and I connected at that mastermind on a variety of things, some stuff that you're working on right now with your clients, in your coaching business, and some things I'm working on in podcasting. That's how we landed here, but also in the AI side of things. So I had to kind of share some of these cool overlaps of what we're experimenting with. And it was just a no-brainer bring you on this podcast because there's a lot of folks I feel like can relate to your story. I'm curious to dive in deeper, and then also on the coaching aspect. There's a lot of folks that are coaching people with their specialty, their expertise, and I know that's something you've been doing for a whole bunch of years, and you've grown something pretty epic, man. So I can't wait to share you and what you've done for a lot of folks, just like the folks listening here, that I could probably gain a lot from what you have. So yeah, man, I just wanted to give you that appreciation. And I want to dive into a lot about you because, well, I guess preface for me and everyone else, your business and what you've focused on for so many years. Because I know I've seen you speak, I think it was on Steve Olsher's stage years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a coach for 24 years, and I've been helping other coaches grow their business for about 20 years. And so I teach sales, marketing, business. I also teach people how to coach, and I also do some really deep healing work as well, and I teach people how to do that deep healing work. So that's the gist of it. I've written 5 #1 best-selling books, and I won the Inc. 5000 award for being one of the fastest growing companies in America 4 years in a row. So I've had the great fortune of being able to help a lot of people and make a big difference.
And I saw those stats and all that stuff, and it's very impressive. So like diving into I'm always curious of the definition of a coach, for instance, because I know that can go very wide. Some people might have different definitions. So how would you define that into like who you're helping and kind of supporting them on their own path?
Yeah, it's interesting because actually at the mastermind we were hanging out at, we had some people were talking about different, like this is coaching, this is consulting, and this, if you look at sports, like there's all sorts of ways to help somebody improve. right? You can give them feedback, you can tell them what to do, you can ask them questions, you can guide them. To me, anything that helps somebody achieve the results they want is coaching. So if somebody's working with me and maybe I'll do some deep healing work with them. To me, that's coaching. Some people would say,
Yeah.
no, that's therapy, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not, as coaches, I'm like, I don't recommend, hey, help people overcome chronic mental health issues at all. That's not the thing. But most people, in order to get what we want, most people are held back by some fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, something that's going on. And so I find that healing is one of the fastest ways to resolve all that stuff. So,
Mm.
some people are like, okay, well, that's therapy and this is consulting. And this one person at the mastermind was like, well, coaching is really getting all the answers out of the clients from themselves. And I'm like, well, that's what some people just define it as. But I really think, like, if somebody hires me, my job is to help them get the results that they want as
Mm.
fast and easy as possible. And so that's my job as the coach. So whatever that may be, I might help them strategize. I might give them feedback on stuff. I might do some of mostly it's client's job to do the work. I usually say, I can't do the push-ups for you, but as a business coach, I could certainly dictate some marketing copy, or I don't get too far into doing
Yeah.
the work for the clients, but there's a little bit that we could do. And ultimately, I want to do whatever's going to help them be as successful as they can be as quickly and as easily as possible, because people don't pay for coaching, they pay for result. And so if we can help them increase their odds of getting the results they want, if we can increase the speed of getting the results that they want, that's ultimately what they're paying for. I think the journeys are hard enough. What any journey, any big goal that we have, any big goal you have, it is going to be hard to get it. If you want to be in the best shape of your life, if you want to lose 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever, if you want to find the love of your life, if you want to start a business, grow a business, like, those are monumental. And that's the thing, is most people who hire a coach, they're hiring a coach for some big monumental life or business change. And in order to achieve that, it's hard enough in and of itself. So I don't know, like, some people are like, well, just ask, you got to get the question, ask them questions to get it from them. It's like, maybe for their ultimate personal growth, if they did it that way, that would be better for them in some way, but it might be a lot slower than the thing that they want. So I'm like,
True. Yeah.
hey, these are some things that you could do. Which of these things do you want to do? This is what I would do. I don't have any problem giving advice in my coaching, and I don't have any problem doing any healing or any of that stuff, right? Whatever gets the client the result, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, no, I love it, man, and that is a true coach. I mean, you look at sports field, same thing. There's a goal, probably a shared goal, but then an individual goal as well, I'd imagine. And my question goes to, how about folks that don't feel like maybe they have a fuzzy goal or a fuzzy idea or vision of where they're headed. And, I'm starting broad, but maybe if you want to give me a specific example or work me through something, how would you help someone clarify that so they can then maybe work with a coach like yourself and really figure out, like, be motivated on this path?
Yeah. So, that's one of the things, if somebody does hire a coach, that's one of the things that actually, even in the process of hiring a coach, like, I recommend people offer a free coaching session or even a paid coaching session. That's sort of an introductory process to find
Yeah.
out more about what they want. But part of that process is helping them clarify their vision and their direction, clarifying their goals, clarifying what they want. So if they have something fuzzy, you could just ask, tell me more about that. Give me some more details on that. What else do you want? What would make this even more exciting? What would make this even better? I think people do know what they want, but, we think it's so hard or it's impossible. And then sometimes we then lie to ourselves. This is
Mm.
one of the big problems of success and achievement in general, and personal growth, and one of the biggest sabotagers of a happy life is we will lie to ourselves sometimes. And so the lie is, oh, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. We'll tell ourselves and even hypnotize ourselves to think that we don't know what we want, when in reality we do know what we want. Because think about it, everything we want is usually pretty simple. We want to have an incredible relationship. We want great health. We want to have a lot of money, probably, most people, right? Maybe that means a great career, or maybe that means a great business, but most of the things people want are pretty simple. Now, maybe there's more specific. I want to travel the world. Oh, where do you want to go? I'm not sure yet. Well, if you could go anywhere, where would one of the places you'd want to go? Have you ever thought about, so you can help people get more clear on some of the things they might want. But at the fundamental level, I think most people we do know what we want. Then we lie to ourselves that we don't know what we want because we're afraid of going after it. What if we can't do it? What if we don't deserve it? What will other people think if I say I want this? Like, there's just all this crap that we
Yeah.
need to clean out to get what we want.
Yeah, it sounds like we almost like hypnotize ourselves with it's almost like probably outward pressures of society or whatever's being put on us, whatever inputs we're giving ourselves. Could be social media, it could be our relationships or partners, colleagues, whoever, but yeah, we almost like hypnotize ourselves potentially in someone else's vision. So it makes ours a lot fuzzier. So yeah, we don't know what we want.
Or just, fear of being judged. Like there's so much of it's like just childhood growing up and, what are just going through experiences in life and
Yeah.
having all that affect us unconsciously. One of the obvious way, this is a good example that I like to give of how we can lie to ourselves, and we got to be careful with this. One of the things that many people will do is, maybe let's say you have a friend and they're like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to be moving on this weekend. Can you come? Is there any chance you can come by and help me move?" What could happen sometimes is somebody might say, "I wish I could, but I'm really busy this weekend. I'm sorry I can't make it, but I've got," and you make some lies or excuses, or you just say you're too busy or you can't or whatever. Or, "Hey, I've got this back thing going on and I really can't help right now." Right? So we might lie because it feels easier than saying, "I don't want to freaking move your shit.
Yeah.
Hire a damn mover." Right? Like, why are you trying to get me to help move your stuff? Or I don't mind you asking, but I want you to feel it's just like you should feel comfortable asking. I should feel comfortable saying no because I don't want to do it.
Correct.
Right? Or if you want to do it, then go do it, obviously. But if you don't want to do it, being honest and saying, "You know what? I am sorry that I don't enjoy helping people move. And, I'd be happy to donate $100 to either that you could pay movers or you can pay for the pizza party for all the people who are willing to help you move. But it's just, I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done being a, a volunteer mover in
I'd
this
rather be
lifetime."
there to help celebrate your new place or something,
Yes,
and I'll
I will.
pay for that night.
Yes, I will get you a nice, awesome housewarming present. But what happens is you say, "I'm busy." Everybody else wants something from you, and you just say, "I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy." And then you create this reality for yourself because there's this party that doesn't want to be a liar, that wants to be true. And so, "Oh, I can't," because I'm like, for me, when I was in school, I used to get bullied. And like, I would tell my mom, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't tell her I was getting bullied. I was like, "Oh, I've got a stomach. I've got a stomach." And I would like make myself have a stomach ache so I'm not this
Mm.
terrible lying person to my mom, right? And then that's how a lot of times we like create sickness for like, "Oh, if I'm sick, then I get to have an excuse to not do things I don't want to do." So
Mm.
you make yourself sick or you make yourself busy. Right? Like, "Oh, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy." Like, I better be busy then because I don't, this way I have too busy. I don't have to do these things I don't want to do. But like, just be honest with yourself. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to help you move. Just this one shift alone can change everybody's life because it cuts through the lies, which it's crazy that we do that for ourselves, but we got to clean that up because when you do, then you face the reality of this is an uncomfortable conversation for me to be asked to be moved and then me to be honest, but now here I'm going to face it.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
like that. I like that example because it's something we can all relate to. It's something we've all experienced. Let's be honest. Like we've all been asked to help someone move or do something that feels why me? Why now? But at the same time, there's this resistance, and I feel like that resistance. I don't know if that's conditioning, if that's a societal thing or what, but we all have some kind of thing,
Well, it's
and
fear, fear of making somebody feel bad, fear of having an uncomfortable conversation, fear that it could end the friendship, fear.
yeah,
My feeling is if you can't have real, honest conversations with people, then how good is that friendship? How good is that relationship? Anyway, if it's really on such a rocky thing that you can't say, "No, I don't want to help you move," or "No, I don't want to,
mm,
lend you money right now," or whatever the thing might be.
yeah, and that's where it's not a silly, but a very small example, but it's something that permeates in all of our lives and to the deepest things of, like you mentioned, health, wealth, and just lifestyle, living the dreams that we probably talked about. We said, "Oh yeah, one day," or "I'll do this," or like maybe I
Yeah.
wrote it down some journal once, but never looked back at it again, so it wasn't as fresh. And like I know, like what motivates me to kind of flip and get out of this is to sometimes hear like the most like brutal honesty. Like I love David Goggins for that example, just like yelling at you, but he's
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yeah. I think everybody compared to him is a wuss.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
myself included.
All
Myself,
of us.
and look here how honest I am about that. You know, at least I'm being honest about it.
And that's the thing, and that's where I think he would probably say this as well, but get honest, like radical honesty, man. Just put it out there. However, you got to share it. If it starts to stay, if it's journaling, do it to yourself first. It's probably where it starts. But then start sharing that to people probably trust, relationships, and then start to put it out there further. I don't
Yeah.
know. You got some thoughts on that or some process to let that go?
The 5 things that coaches help clients do is the first thing we help clients do is clarify their vision and direction. And it doesn't have to be in this order, but these 5 things. Second thing we help clients do is strategize their actions. Okay, this is what you want. What do we need to do to make it happen? What do you need to do to make it happen? Third thing we help our clients do is upgrade their skills. So we help identify and upgrade whatever skills they might need in order to achieve the thing that they want, right? A lot of times people don't think, oh, this is so hard. Like I'm doing this new thing and it's really hard. Well, it's hard because it's really new and you don't have the skills you need yet, right? But you're going to develop those skills. But if you in advance think about the skills you might need and then start working on those skills right away, that's always good. Fourth thing we help clients do is optimize their environment. We look at like what's going on in your environment that could be slowing things down for you, right? That could be a lot of friction to the success. Or what could we do to eliminate friction and make a superhighway to the things that you want and to the results that you want. So for example, if you wanted to lose weight, you could certainly go on a diet and exercise program. But one of the things you could do is look around your kitchen and see like what in here is the tempting stuff that's not good for me and get that out my environment. It doesn't mean you never eat ice cream again maybe, but like it's not right here and easy, right? There's no friction to the crappy food, and then there's a lot of friction to the healthy food. Maybe you don't even have it in your house, right?
Yeah.
So you get all the unhealthy food out, and then you bring all the healthy food, the stuff you actually would eat and enjoy, you bring it in, and then you go a step further so that not only is it there, but it's washed, chopped, ready to go, easy to eat in the fridge in a container. So you eliminate friction to the healthy stuff and you create friction to the unhealthy stuff. Or for your business, for me, for years, in the earlier days of my business, I was like, man, I'm like just tuning out and watching a lot of TV. And I'm like, I've got to stop that. Like, that's not going to help me be successful. So I just got rid of television. This was before there was any streaming,
I was going to say YouTube. How's that?
I mean, YouTube might have come into existence somewhere around then. When was YouTube become a big thing? 2006, 2008,
Yeah,
something like
at least
that?
50. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So even if it existed, I definitely didn't use it back then, but there was no streaming Netflix, there was no streaming whatever. So I got rid of the TV and I had a DVD player. I had a TV, I had a DVD player, but I didn't have cable TV. So it's like, okay, if I'm gonna watch TV, I've gotta go to the video store, Blockbuster, rent a movie, bring it back. I'm only gonna watch, a little bit, and then I'm not mindlessly flipping through channels. What else was great too is it's like no advertising.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, whoa, that cleans up your mind a lot. So, and there's 3 main environments that I talk about, which are your people environment. Who are you surrounded with? Are you surrounded by naysayers? Are you surrounded by yay-sayers that support you and encourage you? And then there's your physical environment. Do you make it easy to get the stuff that's healthy or make it hard to get the stuff that's unhealthy? Or do you have your office somewhere that's inspiring? I've got this epic sweeping view over here. So that's your physical environment, people environment, and then your mental environment. What are you feeding your mind, right? Cutting out TV was really good for me. I went without TV for 10 years.
Wow.
I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I want to watch sports. So I used to live somewhere where it was like, okay, if I want to watch sports, I'll go somewhere there was like a place really close by. I could watch a game or something. And then I moved kind of out in a ways where it was like not convenient to watch anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get TV back and so I can watch sports and stuff. So then I re-optimized my environment. But I was at a different place in my life, in my business where, it made sense to do that. And then the 5th thing we help clients do is we help them master their mind and emotions. And one of the interesting things is that most people are afraid have the very thing that they want. So maybe they want a lot of money, they want to be rich, but then you think about being rich, thinking about having a lot of money, you start feeling some angst about it. Like, oh my gosh, like what are people going to think if I'm rich? All my friends who we all, or my family, we all demonize all these terrible rich people our whole lives, but yet we want to be rich. And then I'm like, oh, if I become rich, now that everybody's going to hate me. Or people are afraid that if you make a lot of money, you're going to lose it. or that somebody's going to take it, or that somehow you'll be physically unsafe because somebody's going to know you're rich and they're going to try to get you. So whatever crazy crap is going through our minds and in our bodies, like we got to be aware of that and heal it, because it's going to be really hard to get really rich if you're afraid to be rich. Or you want to get into a great relationship but you're afraid somebody's going to break your heart. So it's like, okay, I'll go on some dates. Maybe it starts getting really good. I better break up with them before they break up with me, or
Yep, yep. Beat them
you
to
know,
it.
or you're afraid of the process. Like, oh, I don't even want to go talk to that person, or I don't want to go make that phone call and to try to get that meeting, or it's like, so we've got to be able to master our mind and emotions, because that one out of all those 5 steps, that's the one that makes the biggest impact.
Yeah.
Actually, the last two are the biggest: your environment and your mindset. Because if you didn't have a vision, if you didn't have skills, if you didn't have a plan, but you're around a lot of people who are very positive and going somewhere that are good for you, and you're constantly working on mastering your mind and emotions and working through your stuff, you're bound to end up somewhere great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's good to have all 5. I'm not saying to skip them, but definitely the last one I think is so important, because I think the biggest thing holding people back is themselves.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And the mindset, I mean, we all know this too. It's not like a mystery, but you're right. When you know that that's paired up with the right kind of support in your environment, with the right kind of people. I mean, there's a reason we started off by talking about the mastermind that we're both in and those type of people. And, there's hot seats, there's ideas that you can give out to people that you trust, and know that you'll be met with support, with love and support. Like, there's an intention that we are all there to lift each other up. And that's a great environment. It helps be in a physically nice environment as well. So that's good on the mind,
Yeah.
expansiveness. But yeah, I mean, like, something I do for the mental side of things are micro actions every single day. It's like there's 10 things that I'm always checking off boxes. I have an accountability kind of WhatsApp group, small group of guys. So there's the environment. Here's
Yeah.
the mindset. It's both physical, mental. It's a whole slew of different things. Need to go through the list now. But yeah, point is, it's like when you pair those up in enough of a time horizon where you give yourself, it's called a quarter, half a year, whatever it is, there's some monumental changes that can happen so damn fast. And yeah, you won't even feel like the previous you was you anymore. You're like, wow, that's an upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to share a technique with everybody here
Yeah.
to resolve a lot of this stuff. And, I started studying personal growth when I was 12. My parents got divorced when I was 10. My best friend moved away the same year. And then my 2 older brothers moved away. And then, because they were like 18, 19. And then my sister was kind of running around with her friends a lot, so she wasn't around. And my dad moved out of state for a little bit too. So not only leave the house, but then he left the state for a little while. So I all of a sudden went from having all these people around me to having nobody around me. One of my brother's friends, I was walking down the street one day and he just happened to see me and we started talking. And for some reason, he gave me a book to read. It was a personal growth book, and I read it. And partly I read it because I'm like 12-year-old reading books, like, I don't know, but I'm like, partly read it because I was like, oh, I need somebody to go talk to, so I better read this book so I can go back and hang out with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read it, made an impact. Then he just started feeding me all these personal growth books, spiritual growth books. And so that started me off on that journey. And then I've just been on it ever since. And
Wow.
I've studied everything: NLP and hypnotherapy. I got to do the work of Byron Katie with Byron Katie. I got to ask questions with Abraham Hicks, on stage.
She's
Back
awesome.
back in 2002. I've gone to the pyramids in Mexico with the author of The Four Agreements, The Mastery of Love, Don Miguel Ruiz. I've studied with, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, traveled the world with Tony Robbins for a couple of years. So I've been studying this stuff for a long time, and I will tell you, this one healing technique that I'm going to share with you guys is one of the most profound, most deep, most powerful, and most simple techniques that you can use to master your mind and emotions. And when I started off with my coaching business, it was not easy going. I was on an income roller coaster. I was on a confidence roller coaster. Had a lot of insecurities, and I'm still always working through stuff. Like, as you keep growing and taking things to another level, there's more stuff to work on. And this one technique, it's called the peace process. I want to give everybody this resource. It's peaceprocessnow.com. There's step-by-step tutorial, there's a video, there's audio that you can download and have me take you through this peace process. But how it works is, we are hardwired to avoid pain and to seek pleasure. That's how we stay alive, right? Like, fire hot, ouch, don't roll around in your in a bonfire. Food tastes good, yes, get more food, keep eating. Sex feels good. That's how the species stays alive, right? So we're hardwired this way. And then with our emotions, when a negative emotion comes up, we don't want to feel that either. So either avoid doing things that make us feel that way, and we'll suppress those emotions. We'll try to push them down,
Yeah.
repress them, suppress them, and we do that in a variety of ways. Some people are workaholics, some people are alcoholics, some people are drug addicts, some people are phoneaholics, internetaholics, sugaraholics, right? We can like
Mhm.
anything that kind of keeps distracting us from feeling our feelings. It's because we're trying to avoid feeling that pain of the emotion that we don't want to feel. And so the peace process works by going the exact opposite of our millions of years of evolution of trying to avoid pain by actually going into the uncomfortable feeling. And so the peace process works by when you think, whatever it is that disturbs your peace, whether it's a fear about something or a doubt, anything that makes you uncomfortable, if it's something that happened in your past that you just haven't been able to get over, or frustrations about the way things are right now, you just think about that thing and then you notice, oh, that doesn't feel good, right? So then you find where that feeling is in your body, and you put your finger on the most intense part, and you just keep your finger on the most intense part, even if that feeling moves, okay? Because it usually will move. It might only move a millimeter in one direction or the other, or it'll disappear in one area and pop up somewhere else. But you find that feeling, and then you just notice it. You just observe the feeling. You just let yourself experience the uncomfortable feeling until it goes away. And it can take seconds, minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days. I've had a few things that I've had to work on that have taken, that I've worked on, nonstop for months, but I've had a few that I had to work on for a few months. My experience is most things get resolved in a matter of minutes. So I would say 90% of the things that you might work on are going to get resolved in, between 5 and 25 minutes. And, is it worth 5 to 25 minutes suffering, let's say, to then be free of the suffering for the rest of your life?
Mm.
I'd say it definitely is. Even if it takes months, which I've only had like a couple that have taken that long, but those ones were like really great ones to get to work through. And so once it goes away, so the last part of it is once it seems like it's gone, then you want to double check and think about the thing that was disturbing your peace again and just notice. Maybe it's gone down a lot, but then you think about it again, maybe there's still a little something there. If there's still a little something there, you just keep tuning in, put your finger on it, follow it, stay with it, observe it, and let it go away. You're not trying to analyze it. You're not trying to make it go away, because trying to make it go away makes it stay, because what we resist persists. So you just be present to it. And then once it's gone, then you tune in again and think, okay, think about the thing. How does it feel? And it should feel neutral, or even might be looking forward to it, depending on what the thing is. Like maybe you had a fear of public speaking, and then
Yeah.
oh, now I don't mind. Or, oh, I actually think I might like it. Yeah, so peaceprocessnow.com, people can get these resources in the step-by-step and have me taking them through it. But this one healing technique is so profound, so deep, so powerful, so transformative, and so simple.
Wow.
I'd studied so many things. Like I said, I've been studying personal growth my whole life. NLP, and I got this giant manual of all these different freaking processes. You take them through this, and you have them visualize this, and you do, and that stuff. I'm not knocking any of this stuff. All the stuff I've ever done, personal growth wise, healing wise, spiritual growth wise, has all been great. But this one technique is one of the best and better than most anything else I've ever seen.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I've never thought of and I've actively done the noticing. And I know a lot of people don't even notice sensations in their bodies. So I definitely it starts there, because there's a doctor, I was watching his YouTube videos, but it's essentially talking about this whole pyramid of how things work all the way to our brains, but it starts with our bodies feeling safe and really tapping into that, and then that's where emotions can start to roll up, and then it gets into ultimately our actions, through what we're conscious of.
Well, our
And
emotions dictate our actions, most
yeah.
of the time. It's very difficult for most people. It takes courage to do something that you don't want to do. Like
Yes.
most people, if you dread it, if you fear it, if you're terrified of it, it's going to take a lot of fear, a lot of courage to get yourself to do it. But you don't actually, if you have the courage to feel it before you do it and heal it, then doing it is easy, right? If you had to do cold calling and you were like, the phone felt like 100 pounds,
Yep.
it's going to take a lot of energy to get yourself to do 5 cold calls in a day, right? But if you can heal through that, and all of a sudden, oh, it's no big deal. You make these calls, boom, 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 boom. now there's that friction of like, oh, that energy drain of like having to use courage to get yourself to do it is gone. Now it's
Mm.
just light and it's easy. So our emotions dictate our actions, have a huge impact on our actions. Either can keep us from doing it at all, or even if we can get ourselves to do it, what's our performance going to be like? "Ah, you probably don't want to talk to me, right?
Still friction, lots of friction there.
Yeah, you're not going to do great. It's like hard to get yourself to do it, and then your performance won't be great anyway. But if you can heal through all that stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, dun, 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 hey, guess what? Hey, it's Christian. This is a sales call. Do you want to hang up? No. Okay, great. Let's keep it going. Like being playful. Yeah. So that one's really big, and I highly recommend people try it. Check it
Yeah,
out.
man. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that was the first of a couple things, but yeah, peaceprocessnow.com. I'm definitely going there. I love the whole point it out, like put a finger on it and,
Yeah.
and watch it move because it does move. And, it could start in your gut, go up to your chest or wherever. And yeah,
One healed
you got
thought, one healed emotion will heal thousands or even tens of thousands or even up to millions of negative thoughts.
wow.
So
Well, they're all
healing,
connected.
healing things at an emotional level is far more powerful than just healing it at a mental level.
Yeah, now that we have this like foundational emotional layer out of the way, and I feel like
Yeah.
all of us can relate to our own situation, just apply this to where you're at right now. Yeah, let's talk about this because this is what I know you strive, I won't say the most at, but another outside of that emotional level is helping coaches get clients. And you have an awesome process and a free book about it as well. So
Yeah.
walk me through what you got.
I think one of my great strengths is just to be able to really make things simple because it can seem so complicated and it can actually get very complicated. Like there's a million ways to there's webinars, there's social media, there's like a million things you could be doing all the time. I'm like, oh, what do I even do, right? But when it comes to getting clients, if you can realize that it really comes down to a three-step process. People hear about you, they have a free coaching session or consultation with you and they hire you, right? So it's like,
Yep.
okay, there's a lot of things you can do to get people to hear about you. That's called marketing. And there's all sorts of things, networking, public speaking, social media,
Podcasting.
podcasting, advertising. Right? There's lots of things you can do so that people can hear about you. And then once they hear about you, if you're a coach, now you might have them opt in email list for something, right? In this case, I'm going to recommend people get my book, getclientstodaybook.com. So that, instead of going straight to the free session, but once people are on your list, then you're going to want to have a session with them. All right. So people hear about you, they have a session with you, they hire you. Now, how do you get the people who hear about you to want to have a session with you? A lot of people just passively wait for clients to just be like, oh, I need to work with you. And that can work, but that's going to take a lot of outreach and a lot of audience building to just passively wait for people to say, hey, I want a session with you. So what I recommend is that you make a branded coaching session, branded free session. And you call it whatever result, whatever kind of coaching you do, you call it that result. So let's say if I was a dating coach for women, I would call my session an Attract Your Soulmate Now coaching session, where with a bulleted list of benefits, where we'll work together to create a crystal clear vision for the kind of man you'd like to attract and the kind of relationship you'd like to have together. We'll uncover hidden challenges that may be sabotaging your success with men in dating, and you'll leave the session renewed, re-energized, and inspired to attract the man of your dreams once and for all. To take advantage of this session or to claim the session or get the session, click this link and fill out this application. And then based on your answers, if it seems like I can help you, then we'll set up a time to talk, okay? So instead of having just like, oh, free 30-minute, no obligation coaching session, now you've got a branded session that people would pay for. And you can charge for that session. You absolutely can. It just depends on how big is your audience. If you have a big enough audience, then if you sell it, you'll get enough people and you can do those sessions and get lots of high paying clients. If your audience is not big enough where you could sell 10 or 20 of these sessions for $99 or $500 or $49, depending on your audience, your niche market, then offer it for free and then have them fill out the application, and your application question can pre-qualify them and make sure they're going to be, there's a good chance they'll be a great paying client for you. And then you obviously need to know how to do the free sessions themselves, which I have a program called Free Sessions That Sell, the client sign-up system that teaches people how to do that. And actually a lot of this is in my book. So if you go to getclientstodaybook.com, I actually have pre-written these free session offers for all the major niche markets for coaches.
Oh, wow.
And even if you're not a coach, I mean, I've seen people after I was teaching this, I don't know if they learned it from me or learned it from somebody who learned it from me, but I saw investment, like, I don't know if it was Merrill Lynch, maybe. I don't remember what company it was, but I saw them, like, they had a branded free session offer. I was like, that's pretty good, you know?
Got my attention. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's the gist of it. Like, there's so much to getting clients that can be complicated, but if you know how to do a free session that gets people to say yes right on the spot, that's a game changer because now you don't need to get a lot. You don't need to have a huge audience. You don't need to get lots and lots of sessions. If you can get 30 sessions a year, 50 sessions a year, if you just get a couple sessions every month, maybe
Mm.
one or two sessions a week. If you got one session a week, that'd be 52 sessions a year. If
Wow.
you got 52
Yeah.
sessions a year, you should definitely be able to make, and that's just a single session a week. You should definitely be able to make at least $100,000 a year, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, depending on what your niche market is, depending on how much you charge. And that's one of the interesting things too about coaching and coaching fees is that sometimes people are like, well, I don't know, like, can I charge this much? One of the things I found is that, like, no matter how little you charge, there's going to be people who can't afford it. And no
Mhm.
matter how much you charge, there'll be people who can. I started off charging $195 a month for my coaching when I first got started 24 years ago. And now clients pay $100,000 to work with me for a single day. So it's taken some mindset work, getting some experience, etc., to get to the point where people pay $100,000 for a day. But I hadn't raised my price to a point where where there weren't people still willing to say yes.
I love it. And the fact that you're packaging up this entry point for a buyer, someone who is actively raising their hand and wants to engage with you deeper than just being the surface level observer in your marketing, which a lot of people will stay there if we're not giving them a very clear path, like the next best step on their journey. And they're
And you
self-selecting with you now.
Exactly. And if you could take this free session offer, if you have an email list, you can send it out to your email list. If you have social media following, you could post something on social and you can turn it into a campaign.
Yeah.
Like not just a one time, hey, I sent this email. You could send it several times. Hey, here's this offer. Hey, did you see this offer? Hey, last chance to get this offer. You can send, if you go to networking events, you can give, and you get a chance to give a 30-second commercial or 60-second commercial. You could just be like, hey, my name's Christian Mickelsen. Well, you would use your name, not my name, but hey, my name's Christian Mickelsen. I'm a business coach and I help business owners double, triple, and 10x their sales and profits. And because I'm new to this group, I'd love to offer everybody here a double your sales and profits coaching session with me, one-on-one, where we'll work together to create a crystal clear vision for ultimate business success. We'll uncover hidden challenges that may be sabotaging your sales and marketing efforts and keeping your business from growing as fast as you want. And you'll leave the session renewed, re-energized, and inspired to get your business growing faster and easier than ever before. If you want to have one of these sessions with me, just make sure you give me your card when everybody's done with these 30-second introductions, and we'll schedule a time to talk. So you could do it at a networking event and get 5, 10, 15 people to want to have a session with you.
Yeah.
You could go on a podcast, right? Get people on your list and then make the offer. Or you might even just straight up, depending on the podcast, depending on your, whatever, you might even make a free session offer right on the spot there too.
I've done that before. It works well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And more specific, the better, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to package this free session offer up and you want to get it out there into these different places and have people click and apply and then start lining up these sessions. And then, of course, you just need a really great system for signing them up, which, I do free sessions that sell. I want to leave everybody hanging. Here's how you do a free session, okay? Free sessions that sell. 5 steps. I'll go through it really quick. And then if you want more, get my book. And then if you want more, you can invest in my program. 5 steps are build and maintain trust and rapport. Build and grow trust and rapport, step 1. Step 2, clarify their vision and direction. Step 3, uncover their challenges that could be holding them back. Step 4 is explain your coaching in a way that makes people go, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. This is going to help me overcome my challenges and help me achieve the results I want, right? You have to explain it in a very good, specific way. And then number 5 is either collect the money or coach them on the decision and collect the money, right? So either sometimes they'll just be like, here, yes, I'm ready to go, or they might have some concerns or reservations, and that's where you get a chance to help coach them through their concerns, or even potentially heal them through their fears, which is one of the ways that I teach people to work through that stuff to help them, get to a point where they're ready to sign up and practically throw their credit card at you and sign up to work with you right on the spot.
Wow, dude, I love this. You're inspiring me to look at everything I've done because I've done like fractions of this personally. And I feel like it's worked pretty well when I do it. But with a refined offer like this, process on the call, and then creating campaigns, something that can be repeatable every month to your email campaign. It could be a call to action wherever you're at. And I'm speaking to everybody else to, think about how this can be implanted into your own ecosystem. It's a game changer because now you have an influx of people willing to work with you and they're seen. They want to. Yeah.
Yeah, wanting to work with you.
best.
Absolutely. Yeah, all this is laid out at getclientstodaybook.com. Go download that book. Read the book too. Like, don't just download it. Download it and read it. It's really good. When you download the book, You'll also get some great free training along with it as well. So
Christian,
check it out.
appreciate you, man. Yeah, getclientstodaybook.com. I'll link everything in the show notes wherever you're at. You'll see links to it. I can only imagine. Opted in for it. It's probably in my inbox right now, so I'm going to dive into that. Christian, I appreciate you being so open and honest with just giving so much out here in this short period of time. So
Absolutely,
go follow
man.
along. Yeah,
I love it.
All
Thanks
right,
for
man.
having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. All right. That's what I got for you today. And remember, it's not all about living to work. It's all about working to live, if you need to do the work. But work can be fun, and it should be fueling for your life. So if you enjoyed what you just heard, if you got some nuggets of wisdom that you want to share, or you're just noodling on right now, please go tell others the way that people find this show and how you can help others get their aha moments is through word of mouth. So if it is telling your friend, telling your family, sending an email to your list, writing a review, or whatever it might be, everything helps. So thank you so much for listening to the Hustle and Flowchart podcast, and I will see you next time.